Okay, so I'm pretty much setting up to go for my first illegal test run in the big bad world. So all geared up and just have a quick look. So basically want to see if I can, haven't played with this thing much. Oh, that seems to adjust brightness, that's not useful. It's got a trip meter, currently set to 21 there. Reset the trip meter, and this guy here is set to 65 amp hours, which is 100% capacity. So we'll go for a bit of a ride. I'm going to see what the top speed is, and then we'll compare the amount of distance, kilometers, with the amount of amp hour used. Cool, see you guys soon. Okay, just got back from the very first test ride and extremely happy with the results. So as you can see there, done about 17 kilometers, so that's gone down from I think 65, if we imagine that's 45. So it looks like we lose slightly less than 1 amp hour per kilometer. Oh no, it's probably something like that. But anyway, that was 65 when I started, down to 46 now. 17 is conveniently is substantially more than halfway to where I work, so for my daily commute, and I have substantially more than half the battery left, and I was absolutely smashing this as hard as it could be smashed just to see what it will do. So this is all twisty back road kind of stuff. Felt really weird, you know, the bike like I kept on wanting to clutch, and my left foot was a bit confused as I was trying to slow down, but I'm sure I'll get used to it. But yeah, so major highlights, this current went up to about 140 amps. You spend quite a lot of time when you're actually applying power way over 100 amps, so that's well worth knowing. And also speed wise, completely happy. So up some of the steepest hills I could find, I was quite happy to hold about 90 kilometers per hour, so no problem at all. And as soon as you got to anything that was level or downhill, that would increase rapidly to well over 100. So I think I made, don't tell any police officers, but I think I made about 112 on the one little stretch that like there's not a lot of very straight roads around here. But yeah, 112, you must be getting pretty close to, I think 60 miles per hour is 100, so maybe 65, 66 miles per hour, something like that. And if we just have a quick overview of the bike, so stand up makes everything turn off, so obviously you don't want it running away from you. The motor itself is relatively hot. I can keep my hand on it, I think not for long. So maybe 50 degrees Celsius or something like that. It's got a little bit of a smell to it, which I think might just be because it's brand new. Nothing burning. I think that the cables themselves are completely cold. Like there's no, maybe 30 degrees Celsius or so. I don't think there's anything there. And then the only thing is if the motor gets over 100 or so, I'm going to start worrying about these 3D printed covers. But the cables, as I said, completely and utterly cold. The motor itself getting to be a little bit warm, but I was running it pretty much at 100% for quite a lot of this trip. Like I was really pushing this as hard as it would go just to see what it would do. The the motor mount plate also seeming to be a good heat sink. I can feel there's a little bit of heat on that side. So yeah, absolutely tremendously fantastic success. I think that's basically all I need to do now. So I'm not going to worry about going for a bigger sprocket. This is totally fine as a 13 to a 46. It's more than enough top end, and it's really nice to ride. Like you feel like you've got a lot of torque while you're riding it. To get this legal, I need some stickers, some high voltage stickers all over the place, and I also need some front indicators, which I didn't get with the bike. So I've ordered some, but they're stuck somewhere. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get the sprocket cover and the chain guard on, and then pretty much ready to look at going for certification. Okay, so I decided I might as well do a few quick literal back of the envelope calculations here just to see how that first ride went. So first thing to note down there is not super clear, but that says 17.2 kilometers, and we're down to 46.22 amp hours. And if we just make some notes, we have got 17.2 kilometers, and we used 65 minus 46.21 equals 65 minus 46.21, 18.79 amp hours. So what this shows is I'm using slightly more than 1 amp hour per, focus you bastard, slightly more than 1 amp hour per kilometer. And remember, this is hammering the bike. I guess I can turn that off for now. It's hammering the bike fairly hard around the hills and stuff around where I live. So I guess one of the main questions is, so first things first, is I'm working with 65 amp hours because that's what I tested the batteries at, and that's also but that was only tested about half the current that I'm actually ending up using. So because I tested the cells at 5 amps and I'm using them at 10, or the tubes. So I actually have 75 amp hour of battery, but I'm going to work with 65 because it's, you probably lose quite a bit drawing that much more current out of them. So that's probably a safe bet. So the first thing is, assuming that I'm racing it the way I am, what is my range going to be? So if 18.79 amp hour gives me 17.2 Ks, so it's kind of hard to write here, then 65 amp hour is going to give me X. So 18.79 X equals 65 times 17.2. And so X in this case is going to be 65 times 17.2 is that, divided by 18.79. So about 60 theoretical kilometers, which is not great, but that's easily going to work and back. So that's not too bad actually. So that's even if I don't charge up at work. Yeah, and then the other thing that I was kind of interested to work out is what is the actual efficiency of the bike. So usually efficiency is expressed in watt hours per kilometer. If I want to work out how many amp hours per kilometer I'm using, it is basically 18.79 divided by 17.2. 17.2. So I'm using, let's be negative and say 1.1 amp hour per kilometer. 1.1 amp hour per kilometer. And then if I wanted to say, so probably it's hard to say because I think once I got back I'm not sure what the voltage is even at, but once I come back, the voltage would start recovering a little bit as the batteries recovered. So it's saying 77 volts. I think it said 76 before. And I think it was probably, these batteries are 74 nominal. So I think if I work on 74 volts, then it is, to work out the watt hour per kilometer, is going to be 74 multiplied by 1.1. So about 81 watt hour per kilometer. Ooh, I'm struggling here. 81 watt hour per kilometer. Which is quite good, even considering how really rough I was riding this, like really testing the bike out. That is, I think your average leaf does like 150 to 200, so it's still, more than twice as efficient as an average leaf, which is probably to be expected. We know motorbikes are more efficient than cars. There's just less weight or less dead weight relative to the weight of the driver that you're moving. So yeah, that is basically it. Feel free to ask if there are any questions. Cool. Catch you guys later.